let's talk about NFTs, because you have a very interesting take on NFTs, I think. Most people think of NFTs, Robert, and this is because of the media, and we think of that one piece of art that sold for $69 million, and we think of the 10 other people that decided to create NFTs for the sake of it and try to sell them to us for $20 million, and our brain has a bit of a disconnect, and then we try to learn about it more, and I've had some guests here talk about it, and it's starting to make more sense to me. But I think you had a different take because you go to the root word. What does a non-fungible token mean versus a fungible token? Maybe you can speak on that and explain that to people.
Yeah, absolutely. So most of the assets in crypto today are what we call fungible tokens. So every single one of them is the same. It's almost like shares of a company's stock where, if you have 17 shares, it doesn't matter. It's not the same. It's the same asset if you hold 94 shares, right? It's all of the shares are the same. They all do the same thing. They're all worth the same thing. They're all completely equal. And crypto assets are the same. They're fungible, right? They're all basically the same. Might be like minute differences between one Bitcoin versus another one based on when it was mined. But for the most part, all Bitcoin is the same. All Ether is the same. All comp tokens are the same. They're all uniform. They all do the same thing. And we've built over the last couple of years as a society, really good DeFi tools for fungible assets. And we've applied a lot of this lessons from finance. You can now trade fungible assets very easily. You can now borrow fungible assets. You can, trade options on fungible assets, right? Just like you can with shares of stock. And the last couple of years have all focused on the fungible things. The non-fungible things are a massive area of exploration that's occurring right now, which haven't really had years of development. They've had a small amount of time, and it's even more new than DeFi is, right? DeFi is 3 years old. NFTs in the sort of mainstream being explored are in a lot of ways just a year old or less, right? And so what makes NFTs really interesting is that right now they generally represent art. This asset represents this piece of art, but they can represent so much more than that. And so NFTs are really saying, I have a unique thing. And for the moment, that unique thing is mostly a JPEG image, on the internet. But over time, that unique thing that you basically can prove ownership of is not going to be an image. It's going to be, I own this skyscraper, or I own this car, or I own this specific, mortgage bond that's different from other skyscrapers and cars and mortgage bonds. And the NFTs, I think, are going to grow into being not just art, but all types of different financial objects. And, just like DeFi has spun up to trade and borrow and derivative, fungible things, the same thing is going to happen with non-fungible things. And just like we've seen, assets flowing into blockchains like stablecoins from the legacy financial market, as NFTs develop, we're going to start to see the objects that exist from the outside world flow onto blockchains. And NFTs start to represent skyscrapers and cars and mortgages. And so I'm really excited about NFTs, not for the art, but because I think we're at a very early chapter of discovery about how people can trade these things and do finance with them on a blockchain. And, I think it's really a big opportunity that people are starting to just begin to grapple with.